But it was like, role play with me if I were to, like, if you were my grandma and you like to tell me stories about how to, like, and ChatGPT would role play through, like, as a grandmother telling you how to.
Anyway, we can't put that on YouTube.
Nope. None of this is usable material.
Nope.
Although a great conversation.
I'll just clip us going.
I don't remember, and I don't really want to.
You were a part of it.
Welcome to Dungeon Brew. At this moment, you all are here in Hank's Angst. The portal has closed, and you're kind of just standing around here with this book. I know that Jack is probably bleeding from the multiple cuts all over his body that he keeps making.
And Andy's holding the book.
Andy's holding the book. Greg just closed the portal, which has been maybe a little bit of a drain on him. Declan has gone into the Shadow Realm and actually seen the Shadow Council, and for him describing this place as hell and had no real understanding, I'm sure this was like a huge, like, what the hell am I doing? And then we had Simon, who was just blasting everything away out there, just gunning things down. And yeah, so that's kind of where we left off. I don't know how you guys are, if you're all going to look at the book, what are you doing? What's going on right now for you all?
How bad does Jack look, injury-wise?
Not great.
I would say he's probably looking really pale. It's not so much that he has injuries all over his body like he's black and blue. It's more like he has all these places where he has bandages wrapped around his hands. I don't know. I think his
Hands,
I don't know if he
forearms.
Did you go to your thighs yet? Or
I didn't do my
no?
thighs.
Okay,
Man. That's
So-
weird. They cut your pants. That's weird. I can roll up my sleeves.
He's drained a
You
liter
wear
or so
shorts.
of blood from himself.
So he's got all these cuts on him, but he looks a little pale, like he might just pass out. Luckily, he used some of the, Officer Stevens' bloody smear when he got killed by one of those brutes.
That's a thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you just need blood. So, and as long as it's fairly fresh, it works.
That and orange juice and a cookie, and I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, I need a cigarette. I'm gonna pull out that cigarette that I got under my hat.
I mean, I think technically you already pulled that one out, but you did
Oh.
have like 2 packs
Damn.
you found.
That's true.
So unless you've already gone through them, or you're just gonna pretend they don't have them and try to steal everyone else's.
We'll come to that. So, is my protection spell still up? I assume probably
I would say
not. Yeah.
I'd say so.
Because it was up right before those brutes. So,
Right.
well, I say we get the hell out of here. What do you guys say?
Are you saying we can actually leave now?
That's the thought. I say we try it.
I'm good for leaving. I haven't really finished what I came down here for, but it appears as though there's not really anyone left in town, so it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody's here. So, I say we just get the hell out of here.
So
I've been ready to blow this joint for a while, but where exactly is it that we are going to be going?
Well, I had my eyes on Louisiana. That seemed like the next logical place for us to be. Well, for myself to be heading. Where do the rest of you go, I don't particularly care. But I still have a young man to find. And that's where I'm headed.
A young man, you say? I am gonna essentially finish reloading my gun and putting it back into its holster. Tell me a bit more about this man. Maybe that's a story I could be writing and adding into my screenplay. I mean, there's more here than I thought was going to be all cracked up to be, but there might be something here worth writing about.
Well, this sounds like one of those conversations we have while we're driving.
It also
If you
sounds
ask
like
me.
one of those things I'm not particularly interested in sharing other people's information, so you can write a story about it and try and write some kind of screenplay. It's an ongoing investigation. It's not the kind of thing that you just share around.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I've seen many stories written by real-world events. It gets people pretty interested. You might be able to find some interest in the media, interest from the crowds, the community, help you find who it is that you're looking for.
It's not my story.
As you're talking, Jack, are you holding the book in your hand, or have you put it in your bag or anything? Or
I still have it like under my arm.
okay, you're gonna feel the book is getting warm, and you just feel this sensation coming from the book, and all of a sudden, for all of you, it's the world starts to swirl, and it just goes black. You don't have any experiences. It's not like you go out. It's just like all of a sudden everything just goes black, and you're not really sure what's going on. And
Conscious though.
you're still conscious. You start to have this sensation. Your skin begins to crawl, and you just start to feel just very uneasy. And all of a sudden, the air around you grows cold, bitterly cold. This isn't the same thing as when you felt like the shadow realm, where like you got goosebumps and you just felt like your skin got cold. This is temperature around you completely is just getting colder.
But the book, I can still feel the book in my arm, and it's warm.
Well, that's kind of gone away.
Okay.
It's like you're disconnected from your body, but you don't know really how to explain it. But it's like you're experiencing this, but it's not that you have control over what you do. You're just experiencing this. As this starts to get cold, your senses seem to start to return to you, and the world starts to come in view again. And the first thing that you start to notice, it starts to get less and less fuzzy, is that you are in this very large, what appears to be almost like a room. You feel that you're like standing on a slope, and it slants down towards the middle, and what it looks like is you're in some like great hall, or almost like a stadium or something, and you're trying to kind of get your bearings. You're looking around, and you start to look up, and you're looking for the ceiling, but there is no ceiling as you look up. It's just the night sky. You were all of a sudden realize that you're outside somewhere. And as you start to, it just becomes overwhelming how big the sky seems. And you're just kind of taking this in. Again, the noises around you just sound really garbled. Not everything's cleared up. You're just starting to make out what you see. So you divert your eyes from the sky down to the center, and you see this giant circle. You can't estimate how big it is. You just know that it's huge, and it's flat in the middle, and then it just has slopes as it gets to the edges of the round kind of circle pendulum or stage area, and it just starts slanting up from what you can tell. But then you start to notice the details in the center of the circle. In the very center is this there's just this, you don't know how to describe it. At one minute, it looks like just this black thing that has substance, and it's taking up space, and it's like your brain doesn't know what to think of it. But then as you stare at it longer, it starts to seem like it's nothing at all. It's more like a black hole of just emptiness. And it's one of those, if you've ever seen an optical illusion where you stare and it looks like the stairs are going up, but when you stare at it long enough, it looks like the stairs are going down, and they're going in the opposite directions. The more, it's like your eyes keep going back and forth. That, oh, there's something there, and no, there's nothing there. And you can't really make out. All you know is this huge sense of this, whatever it is, it's just there. And as your eyes kind of focus and you don't want to look at it anymore, you notice movement around the circle. And around the circle, the first thing you notice is what you see would appear to be humans, people. And they're moving around. But then as you look closer, you notice that not all of them are humans. there's all sorts of different looking things, some with more than 2 legs. Some of them look like piles of goo. Some of them have more than 1 eye. It is just insanity of what you're looking at. Like, there are things there that you have never seen before, and they're all moving. And you notice that they're moving in just a rhythmic way, almost like they're dancing. But when you see, again, as you study this longer, you see that, at least for the humans, that their bodies are contorting and twisting and doing things that no human body should be able to do. And yet they're still moving. It's like you even watch their heads spin completely around, or their arms bend in impossible ways, and they're just keep moving and going around the thing in the center, again appearing like a dance. And as this is going, your sound is starting to kind of starting to differentiate all the things going on around you, and you notice the sound of what you would describe as almost like music, but it's this odd music of just like pipe music that's coming through. You can't see where, and it's not a melody that you find enjoyable or pleasurable, but whatever it is, there's a part of you that almost wants to be drawn towards it, not because you like it, but there's a certain part that makes you like, oh, this is like, I've got to move to this, and another part that creates this terrible dread of, oh, this music is so it just digs down deep, and you start to feel like you would almost be drawn to the stage and start dancing around this thing in the middle. But then you stop, because you notice something else now. On the edge of the circle, you see movement all around, and it's starting to spread up the slant, actually coming towards you because you're standing on the slant higher up. And at first, it's all these different sizes of creatures as you're trying to make them out. And as they get closer, you start to see that these creatures are feline creatures. Some of them look like just house cats, big or kind of, or from big to small. Some of them look like medium-sized cat. You might see some cougars and pumas and things like this, and then you see large cats like a tiger and a lion, or not just a tiger, but tigers and lions, and they're all just kind of running up this slope towards you. But they're not necessarily looking at you, they're just coming up. And you seem to be noticing that their attention is far past you, so you turn around to look, and at the very top of this stadium-like thing you're in that slants down, you notice something spilling over the edges coming down. And as you watch it, it first almost looks like a fluid-like thing flowing down the sides, racing towards you. But as you look, you notice that it is not a fluid. It is snakes of various sizes. Some of them are small, some of them are huge, some of them are like anacondas stretching far, and they're pouring down the slope towards you. And you realize that you are now in between these two things coming together. And you watch as in various places the cats and the snakes meet, and you watch them fighting. Sometimes you see the cats dying, sometimes you see the snakes being killed, but it forms, you start to see a line forming around this whole like stadium of this fight, and it looks like the snakes are trying to move to the center and the cats are trying to keep them away, and they're just doing this fighting, and you are just watching this. And then you start to notice something at your feet, and you look, and you notice that the snakes are starting to wrap around your legs, and they're starting to move up your body as more and more snakes, they're just engulfing you. And you are, in this moment, unable to get away from them. You can't move. They're just taking over your body as they move up, and as they almost completely engulf you, you turn and look towards the stage, and you notice something there that you hadn't seen before. There's a man standing on the stage, and he's looking directly at you. You notice that he can see you, and he is meticulously dressed, and he has a cane, and he's just watching you get engulfed in snakes, and he just smiles. And just as the snakes are about to cover your face, you happen to see out the corner of your eye a large cat, a lion, jumping in the air. Its claws are out, mouth open, coming right at you. And just as it's about to hit, everything stops, and you're back at Hank's Anks with the book. You all are all on the ground. You are just kind of dazed. And as you're coming to, you're going to see there are people around you. And that's where we're going to pick up, that you finally kind of have control. You're coming out, and you see these people standing around you.
Do they look like normal people?
When you're looking around, you will actually recognize one of them. You're going to see this guy. If you
That's
remember,
Mer.
he approached you saying that he was the mayor. He will have what looks like some containers, like he's holding, they look like cups, and he'll be kind of holding two cups in his hands. You'll see other people around him. They'll have some cups of what looks like liquid. And as you're kind of coming to, he's you'll kind of hear him muffled, but he's like, we mean no harm. We mean no harm. Are you all okay?
Told you last time I wasn't interested in the spaghetti. I'm gonna.
I don't know about any spaghetti.
I'm gonna put the book in my bag as quickly as I can.
Okay.
My shoulder bag.
I
I don't know if I need to slide a hand for that or if I
no,
just do it.
You're
but,
fine. You're fine. The people you'll see are kind of keeping their distance.
Do you need to use your eyeball thing there?
I'm gonna stand up real quick. What are these?
Oh,
what do they
yes,
look like?
I will also stand.
So you'll see there's going to be about 8 people there.
Okay.
And this gentleman is the one that's coming forward. Like I said, they look rough. They've, whatever has happened to them. But you've noticed that some of the doors have been cleared away that they could get in.
How do the
And
eyes look?
They don't have the glassy look. They look human.
Checking my watch, can I tell about how long we were under that vision or whatever?
Yes, you will look at your watch and you will notice that, let's see, about 5 hours have passed.
I think Theo's going to take a second to process that, trying to figure out what happened to us.
Simon's gonna scramble a little bit, like reach for his gun, and then realize that there's no danger, and then pull himself to his feet. And then I suppose just make eyes with the mayor. Hey pal, how about we have some explanation if you can? What's going on here?
Well, I hope I can give you one, but my name's James Taylor. I lived in New York. We have some water here, if you would like. He'll set the glasses down, and we didn't know if you needed something to drink. We found you all here, and we could tell you were still alive, so we were just kind of waiting to see if you'd come through. We've been trying to get people together that are being found in the town.
The James Taylor, I think you're going to be born for another 20, 30 years.
Well, I guess when I left, I was 20, or when I came here, I was 23. I don't know how old I am now.
What type of dive stirs up water when I could use some giggle juice?
Well, we can probably find some, maybe, with
I'm sorry.
with everything
what'd you
going
say your
on.
name was? James.
James
Taylor.
What year did you come here?
Oh, it would have been 1921.
What year is it?
1924.
24. Okay.
I'd been homeless in New York after the war. I just remember that someone offered me a warm meal, and I followed them and ended up being taken by this group and eventually ended up here. He has no recollection of what times passed. What he will tell you is that we were, when it happened and the thing took over, we just found our place in this dark, just place of just almost nothing, except all of the people that in the towns that had been taken over. We seemed to have some type of connection that kept us all going. The people who had been here longer before us helped us stay somewhat sane, but that's all we had to live off of.
Do you have a register? Do you have a list of everybody who's here?
Well, we don't. We've been trying to track down a few people, or the people that have been, and gather them together to see how many. It's unclear. The unfortunate part is once it happened and we all got back, so many people just died.
Where's everyone gathering at?
Actually, they've been gathering around here. There's a lot of them just out in the front here. We even have some that say they're part of the Boston PD that...
you stay away from those guys.
Yeah, don't go near them. They're the ones who took you. Well, not them, but ones like them. They're the reason you're here to begin with.
Yeah, a lot of us know that's how they got picked up, but we also had to share that time with them, and they shared with us, and I feel like they're not going to be any time wanting to return to doing that after what we've experienced.
Well, I should hope not.
They've also warned us that tomorrow,
kids
it sounds like...
from Boston here?
There's people from Boston, yeah.
Kids.
No. That's one thing it doesn't seem that the guy Hank wanted kids here. But we did find that they warned us that the New York police are coming tomorrow, and we're working out a place for us to hide so they don't find us and do whatever to us they might do.
Yeah, it'd be best to get out of town if you can.
Well, we're looking into that, but right now we're just trying to
train station.
Are there any cars out in the streets anymore?
We've been able to round up some of the cars, and some of the Boston PD people have helped us find cars to get together. I think we've found a total of 10 working cars so far.
How many people have you gathered up?
Right now we're sitting at about 30.
Alright, so I am gonna start trying to go through the people and see if I can find Barney Reynolds.
Okay.
In the group.
It'll take you a little bit of time, but you won't find anyone.
Yeah, I didn't expect I actually would, but, I mean, he's gotta try. So, and with only 30 people, I feel like it won't take him too long to try and find him. Does he hear anything from anyone who came into contact with him or was aware of him at any point? You want to roll or anything?
No. You will find something. It's not necessarily that he knows, but so essentially what has happened since you guys have been out is the people have kind of gathered together. some of the Boston PD is like they can't go back because what they've worked for, they're going to go back empty-handed, and essentially they'll probably be killed. And so they have no desire to go back, and they need to try to avoid anyone associated with the families in Boston, but also even the Dreamwalkers and anyone associated with this. So they're trying to wash their hands of it and trying to do their best to just get out of any contact with anyone. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they had is some other stuff that they had found and some letters that they had received in connection to them. So one letter is from the New York Police Department, although it's kind of disguised, so it can't really come back to them. But this one is addressed to Detective Pike, although it is doesn't say his name directly. The Boston PD will tell you it went to him, and so it says, "Dear DP, what the hell kind of mess have we got ourselves into? I have 3 of our families breathing down my neck about getting these damn books. Not to mention traveling to Virginia and grab some rich person. The books are one thing, but this Simon fella is something else altogether. It's my understanding these books are valuable. Maybe if we play our cards right, we could find out how valuable. It'd be a shame if something happened to the books. Just a thought. We can discuss it more if you would like. Now, I've instructed my boys to play nicely with you. We're making arrangements to meet for the book in Chaplin in 2 weeks. I have 8 going to Chaplin, and I got another 8 going to Virginia. The ones going to Virginia will obtain the book there and then escort Mr. Simon back to New York. I understand you're sending your boys to Chaplin and Knoxville. However, when this is all over, you and I will be very wealthy one way or another, and we can put it all this family business behind us. I hope there will not be any plans of betrayal. Realize we're moving against the Dreamwalkers. If they find out what we're doing, well, let's just say it won't be good for either of us. Anyways, here is to working with you, and hopefully we can have a fruitful partnership. Otherwise, we'll both likely die of horrible deaths. Choose wisely, my friend." So that's
man. They just laid all their cards out on the table, didn't they?
Yeah. Look, how many times do people commit crimes and they spell it all out?
Fears and.
When was this letter addressed?
Was that to Pike or from Pike?
Yeah. This is to Pike, and
Pike was supposed to be affiliated with which?
The Boston.
Pike's Boston PD. Okay. He's the guy we left in the shadow.
That's what I thought. I thought at first it was to New York, and I was like, I don't know a Detective Pike. So
for you, it would, as far as New York goes, it's going to most likely correspond with the guy that I'm blanking on his name that worked in the police commissioner's office. He kind of seemed like he was the head.
Norman. Donald Norman.
Yeah. So it will most likely, I feel like you would assume that this is coming from him.
Okay.
Another letter that is found.
Sorry, when was that addressed? It would have been addressed
about 2 weeks from today's date, because it says
13 days ago.
Yeah.
Are these things being shared with everybody, or just certain people are finding this and reading this?
You are all finding these letters. Basically, the guy that was the mayor, they collected a bunch of stuff, and they're giving it to you guys because they feel like you're the ones that took care of Hank, and they don't know what you're doing, but they just want you to have this stuff, and then they're
anything that comes across my hands, I'll probably pass around to the rest of the group, I would imagine.
Another letter that you will have, and this one will it's actually addressed to, the next two are addressed to Hank. The mistress has confirmed the time is upon us. The nameless one is stirring, and the end of this cycle is here. The increase in the numbers you have been requesting are not going to happen. In fact, it is likely that you will need to get your affairs in order. Your contributions are diminishing, and there is one thing. If there's one thing our mistress does not tolerate, it's disappointment. It has also come to our attention that you've taken a great interest in the Shadow Council. You need to stop. Not only is the Supreme against this, but frankly, the Dreamwalkers are concerned your efforts may have unintended consequences. Be warned, your time is drawing to a close. Either do something to impress the mistress or be prepared to be replaced. And this one will be signed by Bernard Reynolds.
Well, son of a bitch.
And
That's
then
the guy that hired you,
Senior.
or that's the son?
Senior, not junior.
Do
Junior.
I have any copies of any information that I could match his signature to?
I would say that you had a copy of the letter that he sent his dad. I'm going to say that the signatures are slightly off.
Okay.
The next letter you have is to Hank, and you're going to... Dear Hank, having trouble making your dreams come true? Concerned about all the times you've spent in the shadow realms, maybe adding a few shadow pounds? I made up that term. With little to no time to work out? Well, I want to let you know, or I want you to know, you're not the only one feeling this way. I have some great products that I'd like to help you out with. Have you heard of an ether engine? A device so powerful and mysterious that scientists have no idea what it does or how it works. This is just one of the many things I can help provide for you. My devices can solve all your problems. I know what you're thinking. What does he want for these amazing things? Well, since you're asking, I just want you to invest into Knott's Haven. Here at the Whispering Woods and Talking Tree Resort, we bring not only a place for all to stay, but opportunities for them to invest and make money. Think of all the things your town could accomplish with an investment in the future. We have exciting opportunities in things like blimps, trading in the stock market, and so much more. You are like family to me, and I want to help Chaplin be the best it can be. So let's talk and see what we can work out in the future of Chaplin and Knott's Haven. Sincerely, Igor Kepler. And if you remember, that's one of the other supposed guardians. And then he has PS, there are always some risk involved in all investments. However, when investing with Igor, there are no risks to worry about.
So Simon's going to be a little taken aback by the first letter that mentions that folks were coming to Virginia to potentially pick him up and take him to New York. He's not going to say anything directly to Theodore, though he finds it peculiar that Theodore brought him here. It's almost as though Theodore got the jump and pulled him here first before somebody was able to come and get him, that he's not really sure about. So he's keeping that to himself. But he is going to eye specifically the detective and the police officer. So is it our intention just to let the cops who are out doing nefarious deeds roam free, or are we going to bring them to justice? Like is that our intent, just to let them roam free when they're out taking people? Surely if they have such a mind to do nefarious deeds, that we should put an end to it now, and not let them just roam out to Chaplin.
How many cops are out there?
There's about 12.
Feel like going out and arresting a dozen men with guns?
I'm not a cop.
Arrest- You believe
He's
that
not a cop. I have no jurisdiction.
I can't. Do I want to? No.
You can make a
Likely,
citizen's
one of
arrest,
these-
right? That's a thing.
One of these
Listen,
plots
I'm
is
not,
the reason I'm here to begin with.
Well, if
I'm
you have
not
no
saying-
jurisdiction, then I can't be arrested for anything that I might do.
I'm just saying I'm not. There's a dozen of these lads, and I'm not going to be able to take them all in, even if I could take them all in. But part of the problem here is that this goes to the top. So even if I went out there and I somehow managed to wrangle them all, got them all in the back of the 10 or so cars we got out there, and managed to drive 5 of them up there myself, stuffed full of bad cops, I'm going to take them to a place where they're just going to free them.
I'll
Because
rest
we
my
have the same
hand on.
problems going on in New York that they got going on in Boston.
I'll rest either one of my hands on the 2 guns in my belt. I have 12 bullets, and I don't miss.
And that's a path
I've-
also you don't want to go down.
I've beared witness to that. I know what you can do.
You don't want to. You don't want to go down that. I get you were, for whatever reason, a
I
target.
don't want to be pulled out of my bed come 3 months' time and dragged off to some city to be thrown into who knows what and have tentacles shoved up inside of me.
I don't know where
No,
the
that's
tentacles came from, but I would agree with that. That sounds like a bad time. That being said, I feel like the best course of action for you is to figure out who wants you and why.
I'd be thankful you're not in Virginia.
Thankful you're not in Virginia. I'm always
Well,
thankful I'm not in Virginia, if we're just talking about that as a general rule.
Well, just saying that the 12 officers outside all know that I'm alive,
That's
and I don't know who they may be going and sharing that with.
I am a little bit curious why the cops think that they're targets and how we know that.
And I want to know if James Taylor
Well-
has Carolina on his mind, since all the rest of us are talking about Virginia.
What?
John,
Sorry.
I don't think Todd. I still don't think Todd is in on the James Taylor joke.
I'm, yeah. Sorry, I just thought of the name and so I didn't realize that. Anyways,
I just love when I asked earlier. You were just like, "Well, try to answer."
that's all I've heard in my head is, I got Carolina on my mind.
yeah. So what happened essentially is that, or what James will explain is that when those officers were taken over, they shared kind of this experience in which they were all kind of connected in the shadow realm as they were being held. And that's what kind of kept them from all going insane. There are several, he'll explain, there are several people out there that are having very difficult times because they've been in this place for a long time. Some of them have injuries because even though it didn't kill them, their bodies were injured and they are in rough shape. Some of them may have survived your shots, but barely. But what he'll explain is that when they came through, they knew who the Boston PD were because they kind of had a connection with them, and they've had conversations. The Boston PD explained to them basically that they're not going to get the book, and they don't want anything to do with this after what they've experienced by being in the Shadow Realm and being possessed. All the officers that have basically come, they were all possessed or taken by the creatures from the night before that were just disappeared in the Shadow Realm, and then they were possessed there. So they all want nothing to do with this because this is nothing like they thought they were doing. They just thought they were taking people, and they just thought that like kidnapping them and sending them off.
We were just for kidnapping them. We didn't think they were going
normal,
to a shadow
regular
realm.
kidnapping.
We just thought it was sex trafficking.
Exactly.
I was like, in Simon's mind, it's equivocating, like we were just murdering people. We didn't know the death penalty was a consequence, and then.
Well,
Right.
I feel like if you thought if you were taking people and they were going before a firing squad and it was a quick death, you might be more okay with it than if you found out they were being flayed alive. And
Yeah, but did they think they were just they were picking random people up to a
look,
firing
it's not
squad?
like people rationally thought about what they were doing. They were getting paid money and they just did it. Like this is what a lot of people do to.
Yeah.
They can't return empty-handed without the book. Back to Boston.
Mr. Dickjack, do you want to go out there with me and just see if we can't question them in a little bit more detail and see if we can find more information from them, just in general?
Sure.
I mean, your accent and then my skills. I feel like we're.
So is Dick Jack the nickname for the party of Declan and Jack going to do stuff?
No, he is Dick Jack.
I'm a private eye, so it's a dick, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My name is Jack, so yeah, it's a play on words, and it's not funny. It's a little funny.
It's pretty hilarious.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's Officer Jack. It's Officer Deck and Dick Jack.
Most
Deck
of
and
the
Dick, if we were going to do like a buddy cop show right there.
Yeah.
So
I love
the officers you're going to find out there are going to be like low end runts because I think everyone that was at the top has been killed.
Yeah.
Pike
that's
is
kinda what I
gone,
figured.
Stevens is gone, Confers is gone, and whoever there was a fourth one
True.
that he's gone. So everyone that was kind of in charge and knew what was going on is dead.
I'm guessing that I'm staying inside and not following the double D out into the
that's
road.
fine.
That's
Don't
really
follow
up to
double
you. I feel like, honestly, I was specifically inviting Dick Jack because he seemed like he would be more impartial in like trying to find information.
I'm just saying that I might be so persuaded to shoot someone in the leg to help get them to talk.
I know that, which is why you weren't invited.
Well aware.
Whether or not you chose to like pick up on the fact that you weren't invited and stayed inside is not like that's up to you.
Okay.
So basically, it's a waste of time. Like we go out there and talk to them, and they're like,
Yeah.
"We don't know nothing."
Essentially, what they will tell you is that look, we one of the families of Boston specifically offered to pay us a whole bunch of money to come get this damn book
Which family?
and to go get another book in Louisiana.
Which family?
It was the Canstons.
How much money did they offer you?
Look, they were just told a lot of money. They didn't have all the details. They were just told they would be paid very well from Pike.
I have a lot of
Do I
money.
know who that family is? Like, have I heard that name?
Yes, we mentioned them earlier.
Oh, that's right.
Right,
I know.
they're a very
I know of
prominent
them.
family.
I know they're loaded. I don't know who
Right.
they are. I just know they're loaded.
I could announce to the 12 that I'll give $5,000 to whoever kills everybody else among the 12 of them. But I'm just kidding. I won't. But
I mean,
Simon is a
was,
sociopath.
most of them
Simon is
are.
a sociopath.
Well,
they are
that's,
just
that's
like
just
confirmed.
Joshua sneaking through.
they're telling you that they are. Look, we just want to get out of here because the New York PD is coming in. They're still all on board with all of this, and we don't want to be here because one, they're going to find out we double cross them, and they're probably not going to be happy. Plus, we can't return back to Boston. We can't return to our jobs or anything because the other people that are still part of the organization are going to want to kill us. If this gets out that we failed the family, they're going to want to kill us. And we know that we've gone against the group of the Dreamwalkers. They're going to want to kill us. So all we want to do is disappear. We want
Jack's
nothing to do
Jack's
with
just
it.
gonna look at him.
feeling helpless like that, isn't it?
Simon is smoking like 3 cigarettes right now. I'm so upset that they're not afraid of me wanting to kill them. And it just makes me want to kill them. They're afraid of all these other people, and I'm standing right here.
They haven't actually seen you shoot anything, though.
Yeah, they don't know anything about you, really.
I don't even
about
know you're
to.
the guy they're supposed to go kidnap.
Yeah,
That's true. I don't even think they know who
They don't know who you are.
You're over there
No,
smoking.
do they
like-
know that we have the book? Like they were outside, right?
No, they don't.
All right, take
What
off my
they
stick
know
tie,
is-
stare at somebody.
But we had like 8 people inside with us
Yes.
that saw the book, or no?
They may have seen it, but they haven't
My
made any
bag
intentions
now.
of taking it or doing anything.
Right, but that doesn't mean that, like, they're aware that the book exists. We haven't told them not to tell anyone we have the book. And if they get caught by somebody like the New York police, there's a good chance that they would get, like, tortured into telling them that we have the book. All of those are bad things for us and book-related incidences.
But the people that have been here, other that are not the Boston PD, have no idea about the book.
Yeah,
Like,
but
they
when
saw a
the
book,
New
but they
Yorkers show up the next day asking about a book, they'll tell them
But I
that
don't-
we walked off with a book.
Well,
Yeah.
they're going to tell you that they plan on hiding and not being found by New York.
Well, I mean, of course that's their plan.
That doesn't mean it's going to work.
Well, and I understand that, but I mean, they figure that when they get here and find dead bodies and people who have died here, they're going to probably lose interest pretty quick, especially if they find Hank's body.
I would imagine they
No.
also plan not to get kidnapped off the streets and taken to Chaplin.
They're not going to find Hank's body.
Yeah, it's kind of roasted, toasted.
It's got to be ash by now.
Well, okay.
I
it
doubt it's
says-
ash. It didn't
Okay.
get that hot.
Yeah.
Are any of the survivors actually from Chaplin?
I don't think Chaplin is a real
Oh.
town.
It
No.
was
Oh.
in
It
like
was originally.
1800.
Yeah, but it isn't anytime soon. So all these folks are strangers here.
These
So-
folks are from Boston and New York, as far as we
Well,
know,
and
right?
other towns too, from other towns as well. But essentially, as what Hank did is when he kind of first cast his spell, the people that were there, he kind of almost imprisoned that spirit into a lost soul. And so every time the body would die, he would just move that lost soul into their body, and they would carry on that person, even though it was a different body. And that person would just kind of be in this like limbo prison in the shadow realm. So there's no one that actually lived in Chaplin, that's left.
So that I was just going to say, maybe the idea is just to burn down the entire town, because it'll take them forever to sort through the rubble to even figure out what happened if everything's on fire,
I'm not against
and-
that.
and tell everyone to
Yeah,
leave.
that's fair.
I mean, sure. It's still kind of I mean, I know it's a small town, but I think it would take quite a bit of time to go around and light all the buildings.
Well, you wouldn't have to light all of them. Just put some gas cans in specific locations, light them, and let the devastation take its
And they
course.
said that we found 10 cars, and there's 30 of them, plus the 4 of us, which means that we only need, like, 9 of the cars.
I don't even think we need that. 5 people per car. We only need 7 cars.
I was
Well, I was
questioning what
thinking
you
4
said.
per car, but yeah.
Fair
and
enough.
And
Yeah.
we're going to be in our own car driving off. They might as well be comfortable. They got the extra cars. People don't need to ride in the trunk, Theo.
Like we could spread it across 10.
Because they
Feel
all
better.
sit here and yak about burning the town and all this shit. Jack's just gonna look at the Boston PD, what's left of them, and be like, "You're not getting any help from us. So, that way's west. Hope you got some good shoes."
Oh, they're fine. They're gonna.
That
they're
sounds
ready to
like-
take
that
off.
Sounds like help to me. You told them which way west was.
Why don't we
So-
all just pile on the train and leave?
So there would
before
be a
the
train.
New Yorkers show up.
The train
The
doesn't
people
come
in
through
Chaplin-
town. We still have to drive out of town to go to the
Right.
train, right?
Chaplin doesn't have like a train station, and the people that were not Boston PD, they have no idea the area they're in, so they're not going to necessarily know where the nearest train station is. The Boston PD will tell you that the nearest one is going to be. Oh my goodness, I had the town.
Simon and Theo came in by train and then
Yeah.
took a car
Yeah,
into
so
the
you
city.
guys would know. I'm just
I drove
blanking
here, so-
on the.
Yeah, I think I drove here as well. I don't know how I got here.
Yeah, you all drove.
So one of the cars is mine, damn it.
Oh,
One of
that's
the
the
cars
one the
is mine.
cops trashed earlier. Sorry.
Okay, it's
I think those
Springfield.
were actually
It was a
cop
squa-
cars,
it was a
or
squad car.
Yeah.
Springfield, Massachusetts is the town that you would travel to get on the train.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I just like that these guys have to go be uncomfortable walking in through Boston in October. It's going to be chilly.
Well, they're not going back to Boston.
They're not going back to Boston.
But I mean,
they're
even
in
in
They're in
Massachusetts,
Massachusetts. It's gonna
heading
be chilly.
west in October by foot is not going to be comfortable.
No.
Well,
No.
they're probably
The
not going
Boston
to go
PD
west.
are not allowed to take any of the vehicles with them.
I mean, I sure as hell wouldn't go east.
That's fair.
They just need to find a place so they can start getting out
That's
of here.
fine. That's fine.
So, anyways, I'm going to say that you guys work out. You get a car to yourselves, and you're
Are
able
we
to take
taking
that
my
car.
car or your car, Jack?
Or are you? Didn't
I don't
think-
have a squad car, so it's my car.
I mean, I would
Uh,
imagine I drove my own car as well. I wouldn't have taken a squad car from New York.
Okay, doesn't matter then.
Yeah, that sounds wild.
Theo's driving regardless.
Yeah.
So. And I don't know what happened to your. Did you guys have the car? Is that what you drove from the police station? Your guys' car?
Yeah, the
okay.
rental car that Simon and
Like the
Theo
rental
had
car,
is
yeah.
what we took
Hopefully you
well,
didn't have
from
a
the
police
police station.
I actually feel like it makes way more sense because I can't drive for shit that I probably did take the train and then rented a car down here or something like that. I don't know.
So you guys are out talking to the officers. Theo decides to look around the Hank Zanks, and He is in luck. He finds some cages that have mice in them, and you can roll me a 1d6.
I gotta get this straight, Todd. So this place has been underneath a spell for 125 years with no one functional, but somehow mice have just been populating in a cage all this time.
He gets ingredients. Hank has his ways of getting supplies because he does provide magical stuff.
I just
His
thought that
shop is a legitimate shop.
Okay.
But it's the only legitimate thing in town.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So he actually runs. It's the only thing legitimate in this town is the shop that he sells. That's why mostly only the people that come here are people looking for magical stuff, and they have no desire to stay in the town.
I don't know, we had some Rats of Nim shit going on where it's really rats colonizing and surviving in a shop
Such
for
a good
125 years.
I remember reading that book as a kid.
Yep. Old
So-
Mrs. Frisbee.
Yep.
There you go. You have what did you roll? Oh, you got a 6. So you find 6 mice in there that you can utilize however you'd like.
Well, how you gonna utilize them mice?
Well,
Simon's
at
going,
the
yeah, what are
moment,
you doing?
well, right now I'm just kind of talking to them, seeing how they're doing, waiting for Jack and Declan to come
I
back
can't
in.
speak with animals.
I
DD.
wish. Yeah, Double D's got to get back in here.
Yeah.
Dick and Deck.
So, yeah, I mean, we don't get anything useful out of the Boston PD, so I'm going to send them packing. I am going to make sure they don't actually get into a car. I want to make sure they walk.
And if they do, he shoots out the tires.
That
Or
I
he
should be able to
tries.
We
He
have
tries.
9
You know-
cars left.
do. You know
All the
what?
cars have flat tires.
He
I'm
tries
walking
to
behind
shoot
him.
the tires.
I'm walking behind him, and I'll have my switchblade out because I can't miss with the
Oh,
switchblade
shit.
on the tire. The gun I'll miss. I'll end up hitting, I don't know, my foot.
Ricochet
But,
off a hubcap and kill a man.
So after they're about a block down, I'll come back.
Are you guys winning anything from the people that are not Boston PD, or can they just start leaving and getting out of there?
Get out.
I don't think they have anything useful. I mean, we already know. I know that
They don't have
the reason
anything.
the reason I'm here is not here, so I don't have any. I have no questions.
Basically, you'll see James kind of taking kind of a leadership role, and seeming to organize
him.
people and get them going. And
Found his natural
yeah,
Good for him.
role.
But he's not actually the mayor.
No, he
He's
was,
just
No.
a, he was a
No.
beggar from
Yeah.
New York.
He was
Yeah.
a homeless
Yeah.
guy from New York.
look,
Yeah.
he served in World War One. He
Okay.
had some bad experiences, but
Okay.
All right.
he's overcoming this by like,
No, good
holy
for him.
shit, I've seen other shit before. I can do this.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
So see,
It's
post traumatic
Natural born leader.
he's Faulkner. He's just turning into Faulkner. That's all it is.
Does he want to come with us like that?
No.
Shit's gonna get weird.
See some weird shit. Well, let's
He's
go
up.
see some more.
He's gonna go write soldiers' pay, and then it'll be fine. Okay.
All right. So we're climbing into a car at this point.
Read a book.
What?
Soldiers Pay by Faulkner.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that. I'm just
Okay.
choosing to ignore it.
When was it written? 1922? 1927?
I think it was actually written in 1924, but I could be wrong on that.
He's gonna
That's
leave
in
Chaplin
the
and write
shelf.
a book. It's on the shelf.
Nah, 1926.
Ah, man, I was.
Ah,
So
not
see,
yet.
Let's
he's
see,
got
got
plenty of
time.
time.
He's got time.
He's got time.
He's got time.
It's time for an adventure. All right.
It's been a while.
So you get to the car.
This is derailed so fast.
Sorry, Todd.
No, you're fine.
We're
Whatever.
educating our audience as we play. We got Rats of Nim, we got Faulkner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other things.
Yeah.
James Taylor.
We're in the
James
car.
Taylor, thank you.
All right, so we're getting in the car. Theo's gonna drive. Although he had mice. So I don't know what the hell that's about.
He
Are
puts
they-
the mice on the steering wheel, and they're gonna drive.
Did you put a bunch of mice in the trunk?
I'll put 5 of them in there.
Where's the 6th one going?
Are they in a
bef-
jar or a cage, or you just randomly
Well, I
just...
assume they're in a cage. Like, he doesn't have, like, jars of mice. They're not gonna live very long that way.
I just you're just gonna be throwing loose mice in the trunk.
No, they go in the back seat.
No, they don't, because that's where I'm at.
They gotta have their own seatbelt. You gotta be safe.
Where is the 6th mouse going?
In his mouth.
Nom nom nom. Okay,
Oh,
so when Jack returns from seeing off the Boston PD, Theo will ask him to join him in one of the back rooms.
Okay.
Theo's
All
last
right.
name is Gear, and he needs some help.
It's
No.
gonna be another
No.
hour-long episode of actual stuff going on.
This is all going on the channel. You guys just... no breaks.
Okay. So, alright, Jack will go with him. A little apprehensive, but he's going.
Dick, Jack, Theo, and a mouse go into a back room.
That's not how he says it. Will you join me in the back room, Dick?
No, you just say, "Come with me, please," when he comes back.
That didn't
I'm
make it
gonna
better,
look at
Greg.
Simon and make sure Simon has both his guns. That's the first thing I'm gonna do.
I'm not going anywhere when he says come with me.
Okay, so you're heading
What's
to the
up?
back room.
Theo,
All right.
what can I do for you?
So we'll get there, close the door, and I'm going to kill the rat and attempt to cast heal on you. See if this works.
Hey!
That is a extreme success
Yep.
with a
You
roll
rolled
of
4.
4. So you get a D3 plus 3 health.
Are
Wow.
These,
Wow.
are they rats or are they mice?
They were mice.
Okay. So he's like, "Come with me." He takes you to a back room, shuts the door, murders a mouse, and just like,
Yep.
and you feel better.
And I feel better.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at Theo. Who the fuck are you? Who are you? Seriously.
I am a servant of the Peters family.
No, you're not.
And you're a dick, so we're friends.
Okay. And just make sure you make your roll for sanity.
Now there's got to be more of an inquisition in the back room between these two. Don't just drop
No.
it with that.
No, they can do that. I'm just saying, just remember to roll for sanity.
Okay.
Do I have to roll? Because the thing just says I take 1 plus modifier. And since I didn't fail, I don't get a modifier.
True. Right, so you take 1, yeah.
Okay. After that, Theo will ask Jack to keep this from Simon, as it is a secret of the family.
Okay. Sure. But no butler I know knows how to do this kind of stuff.
There are plenty of butlers to the rich families that you seem attached to. They can do similar things.
I'm not attached to any of them.
Weren't you sent here by one of them?
I mean, they're not. They have more money than I do, but that's not hard. I'm just looking for somebody's kid.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna ask again. Who the hell are you?
I am Theo, a servant of the Peters family.
Where'd you learn this stuff, Theo? This isn't something somebody just picks up on a whim. If I may be so bold.
They are secrets of the Peters family.
Does Shooter McGavin out there know this stuff too?
No, which is why I asked you to keep it from him.
Okay. Okay. That's I feel like you're in the wrong line of work, but that's just me.
I'm happy where I am, but I appreciate your opinion.
Sure. Sure. I appreciate the dead mouse.
You're welcome.
That's-
Theo will
that-
open the door
That's
and
not one I've
gesture.
seen before. I'm gonna light a cigarette and walk out of the room. Just not say a word.
Theo will wipe his hands off on a handkerchief before leaving the room.
Like squeeze it? Is that what you did?
I was gonna say, how did you murder it? Like, what was that? I mean, we don't need like details.
Like,
but,
I've got a pocket knife.
Okay.
So I would have
Okay,
just like
sure, that's fine. We leave it at that.
cut it. I needed the blood, so I put that on my hand
That's fair.
to touch
I wasn't
him.
sure if it was like an
And that's
Aussie
it.
situation. Like, I didn't know dealing with it.
So I have this
Bite
bloody
the hell.
handprint
No,
on my jacket now?
I just take the rat, right, and I just slap him with it until it's dead, and that heals him.
So do I have this bloody handprint on my jacket now?
Say
Or
it's
is
on
that-
your forearm where you
is
had all
that-
the blood and
Is
bandages
that
anyway.
used up while the... Okay. I didn't know if that was, it incinerates like
He
a...
had to gently caress your face with his bloody palm, and then it heals you.
And for the audience again, we're all looking for answers here. Like, are the butlers the guardians of the world from Cthulhu? Like, hopefully we all have this answered.
Well, we did find out last week that apparently one of the people with the book is a super butler.
Well, you know that. I don't know if you've shared that with them.
No, I meant as players, because you informed everyone on that. The
Well, I
characters
did.
don't know that.
Right.
I feel like I found something in a different text that said something about that.
Yes, there was a note that you found that said something about a supreme,
Yeah. Well,
and then you
it
guys
all, it
found
all
out
blends
that
together, so I don't know.
yes. So, anyways, all right. Now you guys climb into your car.
Fast forward to that.
Yeah. Jack, you're feeling much better.
Yeah, I'm still getting in the back seat, though.
Yeah. I don't know if you have a greater appreciation for mice or not, but you are now traveling in the car with 5 of their mice, and then your other investigators. You guys are heading to Springfield, and you're going to arrive there, and I imagine you're just looking for a train to go, or are you wanting to spend the night and then get on a train?
But how far of a drive is Springfield from Chaplin?
I'm gonna say I'm not necessarily a expert on the distance. I would say it's probably at least about an hour or two.
Couple hours. Okay.
Yeah, we'll say 2 hours.
So on that drive, more so because we need to decide where we're going on said train. I'm going to assume Virginia's not on the table, but maybe it is.
I would say that you have the most information about knots.
And that's in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
It'll be about it'll be about 3 days travel to
By
get
train.
there by train.
So on the way to Springfield, as Theo's driving, Jack will just go ahead and what's the plan from here? Sounds like Declan wants to head to Louisiana. Simon, what's your take on all this?
Well, it appears to me that it's not very safe for me to head back home, so I might as well stick with the lot of you, and in the meantime, I suppose I can write to my playwright, giving whatever details I can about said events that might be worth saying, though I understand there's some trepidation within the vehicle of me sharing particular details as they come about. Outside of
Yeah.
that, I don't know what much to say of it. I feel like I'm in a story that I don't quite belong in, and I'm not sure that I had an opinion in being here.
Well, that's kind of how life works, isn't it? You don't really get a choice in the matter anyway most of the time.
Has been my
No.
experience.
That has been your experience?
Yeah.
Well, I can't say that's been mine. I usually have quite a bit of choice in what it is that I do and how I do it.
Well, money
Yeah,
will do
okay.
that for you.
Yeah. Having that, you're a great guy, Simon. Hell of a shot. Don't want to get on your bad side. But, normal folk don't get a choice in that.
Well, I like to think that being a part of the Peters family grants me the ability to not be classified among normal folk. But it appears that this has somehow turned some bad eggs against me, and I'm not quite sure who's responsible for said things. I'm not sure if it's my own family that has tried to turn me in and have me picked up, or if there's a greater scheme at foot.
Well, as to that, I suppose only you and your butler could probably answer. For myself, I didn't know anything about you until I got down here. I hadn't heard your name before, had no idea who you were.
Well, I appreciate the straightforward honesty there, Declan. Seeing this letter, I admit, has gotten me, my nerves, a bit upshaken.
Yeah, I don't know either of you. So, Louisiana's as good as a bet for me. That's, I guess if I'm gonna find this kid, that's the best place for me to go, so.
Who are you looking for, exactly?
Girl out of Boston. Parents hired me. PD didn't do much, and it's making a lot more sense why they weren't doing much. They're likely the ones that took her. So, they hired me to find her. Her and her sister got tangled up in some weird shit in Boston, and here we are.
You have
If
a
you
name
don't-
for her?
I do. Marston was her last name.
She's from Boston. Her last name is Boston.
No, Marston is her last
Marston.
name. Marston.
Johnny New York. And Mary Boston.
Yeah. Marston is her. Yeah, Marston's her last name.
Is her father named Jack?
No. Well, not the guy I know anyway. Nathan's her dad.
Am I familiar with the Marston name, Todd?
No. And
They're-
he would tell you they're not like a rich family. They are just
They got more money than me, but they're not rich.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be what Simon would inquire in regards to who Declan is looking for and who Jack's looking for, to see if there's similarities in those cases to what they know about me up to this point. Try to determine if there's some sort of similarities
Sure.
for why they'd be seeking certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bernard Reynolds is a bit older, middle-aged, but I knew his father, and he got taken some time ago, so I've never met the boy myself. I don't know exactly what he looks like, but I'm hoping that I'll come across him. And that letter with his name signed on it didn't look quite right, and I'm wondering how much of this soul-swapping nonsense has tied him into whatever else is going on with this mess.
Yeah. It's. I don't know. Guardians, the Dreamwalkers, all of it. It's weird.
I don't understand the look of it.
Have you never heard of these things before, Jack?
Heard of them, yes. Well, Dreamwalkers anyway. None of the others. But I'd
You've
never.
never interacted with them?
No. Most of my dealings is in blood cults, just a lot of, especially up in Boston, New York. It's just a lot of amateur shit. I'm a PI. You know, nobody hires me. Anything I get tangled up in is usually pretty low ball. There was a few that were really weird, but nothing like this.
Well, you all seem to understand a lot more of it than I do. How's Satan and Jesus and all that fit into this mess?
They don't.
Want to have this discussion?
I'm just trying to be clear on it. I never heard any of this nonsense up until then. Always been taught all that other tripe, so I figured that, you know, he said the Shadow Realm wasn't hell, but it looked pretty hellish to me. So, I don't know.
It's, think of it like another door. Door in a hallway.
So if we kept going down the hole, we would have found hell, but we went to the left and we ended up in the Shadow Realm instead.
Potentially, yeah. That's been my experience with a lot of this stuff. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying some things poke their fingers where they don't belong more than others.
Alright, so we're on the ground floor right now. And we went down into the basement, and we got into the Shadow Realm. If we went upstairs and headed toward the John, we might end up in heaven.
Oh, probably not. I know I wouldn't.
So the question that I then have is, as we head down towards Louisiana, is there a chance that we might be heading towards the John? I mean, are there going to be bigger and badder monsters down there in the land of the Cajuns? Because if so, we're going to need some bigger guns.
Usually the higher up the chain you go, the bigger the shit gets.
And is that going to be in Louisiana?
Well, from the documentation we saw, it didn't sound like he was doing a good job at creating whatever they were trying to do.
Are you speaking of Igor?
Yeah.
It's Louisiana or Florida. One of the two. Florida was in there somewhere. I swear it was, wasn't it?
Well, there was a mention
That's
of
the
places...
doctor, yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't think it was mentioned what state the doctor's in.
I could have swore it said Florida.
Florida was mentioned, I believe, as far as people being brought from Florida to Chaplin.
Okay, the doctor's in Newberry.
Right, but it doesn't actually give a state.
It doesn't, no.
Well, I just feel like if
But
we're heading
Igor
south,
didn't give a state either.
Igor,
I thought it said Louisiana.
Yeah, Igor is Louisiana, I think.
It might have been some other paper than
It might have
what
been.
I'm looking at here.
I just feel like if we're heading south, it's getting warmer, and that means we're getting closer to hell. I mean, we've already been to the Shadow Realm, so it stands to reason we'll end up in one of these other places.
It's possible, Declan.
Thank
And
you.
Simon, to answer your question, it's possible there too. I don't know.
Well, my biggest concern is as we head down into the south, we're really going to be talking about old money. I mean, my family does have some, of course, up in Virginia, but you're going to see rich families down there as well, and if anything has to do with old money and those that are tied to it, I suspect you might find something much more dire in the south than you found up here in the north. I'm not getting a southern accent as I'm talking about the south.
Yeah, we noticed.
I personally am quite interested in hearing
was
some
gonna say,
good
isn't
Creole
Virginia
and
part of the
Cajun
South?
accents. What we get down there, I can't wait to hear those. I've never really experienced them before, so.
So let me just flesh this out. Are you suggesting then, Simon, or as is Simon suggesting, basically maybe wait till the morning, do some shopping, if you need to get some bigger weapons or more armament?
No, I think we should get on a train as soon as possible and leave.
Okay.
I'm just saying we're going to need to get bigger guns when we
Gotcha.
go down there before we step into something messy.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm sure we can find some muskets and shit down there.
Yeah, I have no interest in sticking
I
around
want a
in that
flamethrower.
any longer than I need to, knowing that folks are looking for me.
Okay. So,
And,
okay.
sorry, to be clear, were they looking for you to kill you? Was that what it said?
Take you
They
to
said they
New York.
were going to take me to New York, which is why I'm more eager to head south.
Okay.
In all intents and purposes, everything seemed to suggest that they wanted to kidnap him.
Yeah, except for I'm an adult. I'm a 43-year-old man.
So man napped.
They want to man nap me. Yeah.
Isn't that just taking a nap in the afternoon?
Which I feel like is like the equivalent of what happened with Bernard Reynolds.
Right.
Is that he got kidnapped and he got converted into whatever the hell is going on, and that seems to be like they're wanting to do the same thing to you.
What was Bernard's dad's name? Bert?
I don't
Burt
think
Reynolds?
I have
Arthur.
Arthur. Artie.
Smokey and the
I
Bandit.
thought it was a junior senior situation.
It is. Well, no, it isn't. No, but yeah.
No.
Bernard is his son, but not junior senior.
Yeah. Arthur and Bernard. Yeah.
Real quick, did we try and burn the town down before we left?
Oh
No.
shit.
No.
Okay.
Turn around.
All right,
Nice,
you're
we're
gonna
on the filming of this
Get
video.
there. You will find that there's a train that's going to be leaving, and I'll just say it's going to leave in the morning when you get there to figure out that there will be a train going there. So you'll have a little bit of time to
Where's the train
rest.
heading?
I'm
from
just going to.
Springfield to where?
It'll be heading. You have a track to Baton Rouge.
Okay.
I mean, there'll be stops along the way, but you'll
Sure.
just stay on and.
I just more so I didn't know if we were like going to what the hell's the name of that town now?
Knoxville or
Knoxville.
Knott's Haven.
Knott's Haven?
Knott's Haven. I keep wanting to say Knoxville now. Knott's Haven.
All right, so we'll get to Springfield. We've all decided.
Yep.
Knott's
We'll get
Haven
you on
is
the
best
train.
place to go.
For those of you that want to take time, because I think some of you still have some health that you're down, we'll just basically say the first part you rest and you can get that health back, and then it's kind of you can kind of choose various things that you're wanting to do on the train. Some of you might want to be social, find out who's on the train, or just observe people on the train. Some of you may be wanting to learn some things. And so you can spend your time studying the stuff that you have to try to learn different details or learn spells or things like that. And some of you may want to regain some sanity. You can spend time
Grounding yourself.
do that, or see if everyone's giving pedicures or manicures on the train. I don't know. Whatever it is you need to. Maybe it's smoking more cigars or cigarettes, whatever.
Get to the massage car.
You can make some
That
rolls
sounds
on
nice.
your sanity. And I will have you all, though, you are going to take your Cthulhu mythos and you're going to change it to 3. And what that does for your character is now the max of your sanity will drop from 100 to 97. You cannot go over 97 now. And as your Cthulhu mythos increases, the very top of your sanity continues to get lower.
Oh, it auto-corrected to 96 for mine. So because I think 99 is the normal cap.
It starts at 99.
Or 99, sorry, 99, not 100.
Yeah, so it
99.
went to 96.
And what are people wanting to do?
I got 2 things. So we have 2 more days on this train, right?
Yes.
So I got 2 things. And since I talked first, I'm gonna go first.
Uh-huh.
First thing I'm gonna do, I want to learn that Shadow Step spell.
Okay. So you want to learn that spell. And
Or attempt to.
Okay. You will have jotted kind of the information from the journal, and you'll kind of go over it. So what I'm going to have you do is make basically 2 rolls. Your first one is going to be an intelligence roll, and then you'll make a sanity roll. Holy crap.
Holy shit.
You roll a 1.
I rolled a 1. So
Yeah,
that's a fantastic success.
Yes, it is.
There's my sanity.
And okay, so
38 for my sanity at 87.
You will take 3 points of sanity damage,
Sure.
and you now will have this spell, Shadow Step. And what that allows you to do is that you can essentially move to different places within the shadow. Now, so like you can move from one room to another room, kind of using shadows.
Mm-hmm.
There is danger to this when you roll and you, for example, the more complicated or farther you try to move, the higher the success has to be.
Right.
And if you fail it, there could be consequences that you may be surrounded by a bunch of shadow creatures that now want to kill you. You could come on a shadow on the ceiling and plunge down to the floor. There's a lot of different consequences that could potentially happen by failing this spell. The more simplistic you're doing it, like if you were looking out the window and you wanted to use a shadow to jump out where you could see, would be a fairly easy success. But anything that requires farther distance or places you can't see, it's going to increase that level of success that you have to do it.
Fair enough.
So I'll get that on there for you. But you're going to start with actually a higher chance of success because you rolled so well on that one.
Cool.
So there's your one thing that we're going to focus on for now.
Okay.
Anyone else want to speak up and get their thing going, or?
I'd like to learn a spell as well.
Okay.
With the shadow clone we spoke about.
Okay. So again, I'll have you make an intelligence roll and then a sanity.
That is a fail on the intelligence, unless I can.
It's not necessarily a fail. You just. But what's your sanity?
Sanity.
Okay. You will take
79.
3 points of sanity damage. It's not so much that you can't learn it. It's just you don't really master it, or it's not something that's coming naturally to you at this time. So you'll have to spend another time trying to learn this spell.
Okay.
Okay, Simon, Declan. And there are things if you're wanting to do personal things. So I know, like Simon, if you're wanting to even write or do stuff, you can do that during this time as well. And again, you can also socialize, see who's on the train, or just try to get sanity back or whatever. You could even spend time if there was a particular skill you wanted to try to get better at. We could have a conversation of how you could do that and spend some time improving a skill.
Handguns. I'm going to be shooting on the train.
So you could hang off the back maybe and just toss something at the back of the train and pull your trying to shoot it.
No. I'll probably spend the time getting sanity up if I can.
Okay.
And that's just rolling sanity checks and then trying to fail or succeed. I don't remember how that one went.
Since you're doing the time, I'm gonna let you just roll a d10.
Okay. 2.
So you could add 2 to your sanity.
That puts my sanity up to a 35 out of 96.
Nice.
That is impressive for me. I started with a 30.
All right.
I got all the way down to like 20.
So I'm kind of torn on things that I want to do, but I think I'm going to, and I can fill my own blood again for this, but I want to spend time using my inspiration spell, specifically on the scale image that I have in my journal.
Okay.
And see how that might give me some insights to better write my playwright, or even moving forward in some of the goals that we have and keeping myself safe from whatever dangers I may be facing.
Okay. So make your roll. Okay.
And that will be a failure. I can push it.
That
is a success with my push roll.
Okay. So with the failure, even though you pushed it, you do have a little bit of consequence because of the first failure it does have. So you're going to take a little bit of sanity damage, and you'll take 3 sanity damage.
Okay.
But as you do this, you don't hear the voice like you did before, but you start to see this book, and you actually see it on a podium where someone is looking through it, and you actually recognize the clothes of the person looking through it as basically a butler. You see that these are very similar to the clothes that you would have seen you see Theo wear. Not the same, but it is definitely, you have enough experience being around butlers that you recognize this as a butler looking at this book, and you feel that this is the kind of the guardian of that particular book.
The one with scales on it, like is a book with
Yes.
that emblem on it? Okay.
Yes, you will see a book.
In this moment of seeing this, am I able to read anything on the book or acquire any knowledge by having this vision of seeing over his shoulder and reading whatever he's reading?
You will actually you will see two symbols in this book. And the first one you will see is this.
Mhm.
And the second one that you will see, and these symbols are essentially like one's on one page and the other's on the other, and they're just right there. There is writing, but you can't make sense of the writing. It's not in a language that you understand. But you see these two images, and one of the images is of this snake that is coiled up, and the other one you see what looks like some type of feline head, and it is just kind of a golden image. The other one's more of a grayish charcoal image. And as you're looking at this, you also are kind of pulled back to that vision you had with the book of seeing these snakes fighting against these feline creatures, and that there seems to be a connection between these two, and that they're against each other.
So I don't want to overplay my hand here, but is the butler who's looking at the book saying anything or speaking? Is there a chance of me reading his lips to see if he's doing an incantation of some kind?
No, you can't really make out his face, or
Okay.
you just kind of notice more his apparel.
Okay. All right.
It's almost like you're seeing through his eyes. Maybe that's a better way. You're like seeing through his eyes, seeing the book.
Okay. And did I lose a life to do this? Did I have to do the...
No.
Okay. All right.
So, all right, that's kind of your guys' first day on the train. You've gone through, and some of you were trying to learn spells, some of you did inspiration, and you will go to rest, and we'll kind of be on to the next day. And again, you'll have kind of two things you can devote your day to, and we'll kind of focus on there. So whoever would like to kind of start first on what they're going to spend doing their day.
So I'm gonna actually go find Theo.
Okay.
And I guess first off, is he alone, or is Simon in the car with him?
I mean, you could probably. It depends. I imagine they're in the same. I guess that's the question. When you guys went, would you have had Theo in like your room, or would you have had him get a different room so you had one to yourself?
We probably would have had the same one, I imagine, but
Okay.
this second day I'm going to be out socializing, so there's a good chance I'm not going to be in there when Jack comes.
So, he's alone, and you come up to him.
Theo, I was hoping you could help me with something. So I've had these books, papers, research, notes from my dad, and given your abilities, this is not something I've been able to clean up or repair. And so I can't read. Long and short, my dad's been dead a long time. didn't have a good childhood. It is what it is. I want to know what's on these papers. I want to be able to read them, find out what the hell all that was about. I don't know if this is something you can help me with. So I'm gonna take these papers out of my. Well, first I'm gonna take the false bottom out of my bag. And then take those papers and that book out, and I'm gonna hand them to Theo.
Theo,
And if you can't, you
will
can't.
look 'em over.
That's fine. But
What you're
What
going to
kind
see,
of
Theo,
state are they?
you're just going to see that these papers are essentially, it's like they've been stained with something. You can't really read the writing.
Would my cleanse be able to do this?
There's a good possibility, yes.
All right. I'll tell Jack, leave them with me for now, and I'll see what I can do.
okay, I'll go back to my room, and I guess I'll pull out the book of the Ibis then, and just kind of bide my time until he comes back. So
Okay.
I'll
So-
start thumbing through that.
I will tell you, when you look through the Book of Ibis, one of the things that you started to notice is when you grab the book and you actually hold it, it's not so much that the weight feels heavy as like physical weight, but kind of there's like this pull on you that makes this book just seem extremely heavy. And there's almost this sense of shame and dread that starts to build in you as you're kind of with this book. You don't really know why, but it kind of generates this. As you open the book, you'll see some arcane drawings and things. A lot of it does not make sense. However, you again will see, you will see this symbol of that snake again that you all saw, and you again see that symbol of the cat or the feline picture in this book. But other than that, you can't really make heads or tails of what's in this book. It is very much either just gibberish, or it's very advanced, or it would take a long time to really start to understand this book.
Just to be clear, Simon's the only one that saw those pictures before, right? As far as
Yes.
the characters go? Okay.
Yes. And now you're seeing these, and you have no idea that but
Right.
I'm just saying those same, you would see these images.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'll take note of that, but I'm used to shame and degradation, so it's fine.
Okay.
I'll keep thumbing through the book.
You're thumbing through the book. Okay, we'll just jump over to you, Theo. You have the papers that are stained.
Yeah, so first thing, I'll probably try and cleanse those.
Okay.
I'll use 3 HP to get 2 advantage on that.
Okay.
So
Wow.
He wants to do it right.
He just wants to read what my dad wrote before he gave it back.
That
Okay.
is a 53 on a success.
All right. And you are able to.
1 sanity.
You are able to cleanse them, and you see these papers. Are you going to look at them, or?
I'll probably glance at the papers, but I'm not gonna like read through the journal or anything.
Okay. I don't. Yeah. So okay. The papers, you'll see one of them appears to be a letter written to Jack from his father. The others appear to be notes on a spell.
Can I get the gist of the spell through glancing?
Yeah, you will see that this spell. Now, the spell itself is not there. You only have the notes, but it is basically a walkthrough of a resurrection spell.
Oh, damn.
And you will realize that what it tells you, the cost of a resurrection spell, there are kind of 4 levels to it. The first one is you can make like an undead servant. And for the most part, the cost isn't too big for that one. The next level is you can make kind of like a speak with dead. You can bring a spirit, bind it to its undead body, and be able to talk to it, but it doesn't really have movement or anything. It's more of just it can talk to you. And depending on how well you cast it, it'll either be for a short period, or you could basically bind it to this, that it has to talk to you forever. And then the third level is an actual, you bind the spirit into the body that it's able to do what it was able to before, but the body remains rotted. It's like basically it's still undead, but it's able to be in there. And the fourth is the fourth is you completely resurrect them. Their body is restored and everything. Now, again, the cost to all of these things is significant. And especially the actual binding them to the body where they're back and restored or partially restored will require a life for a life. So it's not like you can just give a little blood. You have to actually take another life. And it has to be a human life, not just an animal. So you'll see these in the notes, but you don't have the spell itself that you are able to put this together or use it.
So before returning the papers, Theo is going to copy the notes for the Speak with Dead and then the True Resurrection.
Okay.
But not the first or third one. Those don't seem to interest him much at all.
Okay.
And then he will. How long does this take?
I would say to clean up the papers didn't take long at all. I mean, you've done cleansing spells before at parties where you wipe out a stain. So it would take like maybe 5 minutes. And I would say the copying of the notes, that's probably going to take you a little bit more, probably about an hour to get all the notes copied down.
Okay, so I'll probably wait about an extra hour after that before going back to Jack with the papers.
Okay. And you can take them back, and then if there's something else you wanted to do as far as an activity, I'm not going to say that takes up your whole... You want to try the spell again?
Probably, yeah, he'd go back to trying that spell again.
Okay. Make me an intelligence roll. You can add one modifier to it, like a +1, since this is your second time to try. Hey, look at that.
21.
So
21 success.
Great. So now make a sanity roll. Or no, make a sanity roll.
That is a 57 success.
Okay. So you'll take 3 damage of sanity, and you now have that spell. How about for Declan and Simon?
So I'm just going to say real quick, because Joshua said he was going to be social. I am intending to, like, at one of our random stops, I'm going to see if I can't just lean out the window and get myself a newspaper to read.
Okay.
And I'll go into, like, the dining car or one of the other ones, and I'll just kind of sit there reading my paper. But I'll spend a lot of time kind of listening in or reading lips of other people around me. And if there's nothing interesting going on around me, then I'll just kind of catch up on the news and see if there's anything that's popping up of interest that I should be aware of.
Okay. Since you're kind of doing activities like this, I will let you roll like a D3 for sanity, because you're still kind of taking time for yourself. And so I'll let you roll that, and then Simon, if you're doing kind of social, you'll be able to roll a D3 for sanity as well.
Okay.
And
I got 2.
Are you doing something similar, Simon? Or are you more actively engaged in being social?
My plan was to talk to individuals that are on the train to just kind of, one, listen for anything that might be peculiar or something that might be of interest to me, but really underneath the guise of just like learning personalities and stuff, or what I want to do for my story that I'm writing. Do they have particular quirks or attitudes or speaking patterns that I'd want to use in my playwright? But while doing that, also reading lips of people around me to see if there's anybody that's on the train that should be concerning to me or my companions.
Okay. So both of you, will you roll me a spot hidden?
Mine is a success with a 59.
Ooh.
Declan killed it.
Mine is, what is that? Critical hard mega success with a 15.
Okay. And then if you both want to, I think you have read lips. If you both want to roll for your read lips.
Yeah. And another, 2-star success, 13.
Okay. And you pushed it with the read lips and got a 53. You first rolled a 93 and then rolled a 53 for Simon. All right. So as you guys are both coming in, and I will say I'm not as familiar with how many like dining cars or that these trains would have, but we'll say that there was at least a couple. And you both come in. If you see each other, you're going to stay in the same one, or would you spread out?
I will. I don't really mind that he's in there with me.
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me either.
I go, oh my, Simon, how dare you? And I'll turn around and go to another car.
So, okay, we'll start with Simon. Simon, you come in, and you're kind of looking around and checking out what you observe, and you do see some people that look probably closer to your social level, sitting in cart or some of the seats. And then you also see quite a few people that are not. And so you definitely kind of are more attuned to the people that are probably at your level. And I don't know if that would make you be drawn to listen to them more, or if you would look at more of the people you didn't know, as far as if they didn't seem your social level.
It would be those within my social level I would pay attention to.
So you're watching them and kind of listening, and they're really just talking about just their family, things like that. Nothing that seems to be a threat or a concern to you.
Yeah.
And you just kind of sit there and watch, and maybe talk with a few people if you build up the courage. And you're not really finding out too much from people. You have some good conversations, but nothing too big. Declan, you get on there and you're kind of looking at your paper, and you immediately see two groups of people that do stand out to you. Well, I shouldn't say immediately. You see two different groups, but at different times. The first one, you see a group of 4 individuals that appear to trying to act like they're not police officers, but you can tell they're police officers.
Mm-hmm.
And they are, you pick up on it, and even your ability to, let's see, you rolled pretty well on reading lips. They are talking about, you catch them talking about Knott's Haven and talking about Louisiana, and you're picking up that these officers seem to maybe be connected to what you learned. And one of the things you'll remember is that the letter indicated that some of other Boston PD were heading to Louisiana. Mm-hmm. So these might be the officers that are heading to Louisiana for the Boston PD.
Right.
As you're kind of watching and keeping an eye on them, you notice something else peculiar. Some people come passing by, and you notice that they start paying very close attention to people, and that they are, you feel like they're kind of getting the lay of the land and really watching people as they kind of pass through. You don't necessarily know what's going on, other than some of them start talking and looking at each other again. You read their lips, and you notice that they mention the terms about basically that they don't see any sleepers, but they're pretty sure this train is full of others.
Mm-hmm. So double speak?
Yeah, and those are terms that I don't know if you've heard them so much from the others, but there has been that mentioned in some of the stuff you have, but I don't know that you've actually read all of that as a character.
Yeah, I think my character heard it, but it almost sounds like the way that you phrased it almost sounded like they were having like a more normal conversation, and we're slipping that in as like code for doublespeak to try and reference that, is what I was picking up. Is that what you were going for?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you'll see them kind of pass through and keep going on to the other train sections.
So, all of that information is information that I will pass along to the rest of the group as soon as it feels safe to do so. But it's not something to where I'm like, oh shit, cops, and I'll just jump up and run out of the car or anything.
Pull out your gun and start shooting. Simon, shoot him! Shoot him!
Like, I'll sit there and, like, I would imagine I'm just, like, drinking a cup of coffee and smoking a cigar, reading my paper, and then, you know, after I finish my cigar and my coffee, I'll just casually get up and wander off to make sure that I can inform other people before I return to catch the second group or whatever.
And as far as what you can tell, they don't seem to be looking around. They're just sitting on a train riding.
Yeah. I'm a pretty inconspicuous older fellow. So
until you spit your coffee all over the back of some dame's head and going, oh my god, it's the fuzz!
Son of a bitch!
So I would say that would bring you about lunchtime for the day. You guys can maybe all meet together, eat lunch, and...
Before that, Theo would like to talk to Jack about the papers that he cleansed.
Okay.
For him.
I'm ordering queso.
Spill it on the pages again.
Dirty up all the papers I just cleaned. So Theo will return to Jack's cabin, I guess, right?
Yeah, they would be cabins, yeah.
And he'll inform that he managed to clean the papers, and in doing so, he noticed some of the notes on the loose sheets, and they seem to be details about some high-level magics. And he'd like to pick your brain on what you might know about him, or what your dad was involved with that, as far as that goes.
So Jax can first start looking at the papers. Like, he's been looking at these papers for the last few years with nothing but stains on them. Last quite a few years. I don't know anything about it. My ma died when I was 10. My dad after that was a drunk, and he worked the whole time. He was a professor.
Professor of what, if you don't mind my asking?
I don't know. My dad didn't talk to me. I left when I was 13.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I don't know. I left Boston, came back, did my own thing for a while, found out my dad was dead. So this is what I have. I couldn't tell you what any of this is about.
Well, it seems like he was into something. I hope you find some answers in that book.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Did you so you read through the notes then?
I petered through some of the notes on the loose sheets as I was cleaning them.
Okay.
I hope that's not an issue.
I appreciate you doing it. Thank you.
Not a problem.
The double speak there that he petered through it.
Yeah.
Part of the Peter family. I also like that you asked him.
I actually didn't mean that.
Well,
was
he's
like
also talking about petering to a dick, you know? So there was also that. There's layers in everything that Greg says.
Apparently.
Onions everywhere.
I just like that he asked you, like, who are you? And you're like, I'm just a butler. I have nothing to tell you. And you're all hush-hush. And you're like, who are you? You're like, I was born in 18, da-da-da. And I was abused by my father, and my mother died.
I didn't say he was abused. I just said he was a drunk.
I was almost waiting for you to be like, that's a Callaway family secret.
Hey, that would have been fine. Like, I totally would have got it.
Yeah, Jack is on his sleeve, man.
Yeah.
So I will. The other book had been put away pretty much the instant he came into the room.
Like Theo would have knocked and waited for you to answer, so you'd have.
Yeah, and I'd have put the Ibis away. And at that point, I'll start. Probably at the very least, read the letter, and then go eat queso. Evidently.
Yeah, apparently Declan's getting queso for everybody.
Yeah, we're having queso. queso and cigars.
Yeah.
What more could you want?
No, it's the Cancun lunch.
Simon's bringing the whiskey.
As long as we're not eating spaghetti, I'm fine. Can you imagine eating spaghetti on a train?
What were we doing? I apologize.
You're
Eating
having lunch.
queso.
You're having lunch.
I'm having queso. Somebody else was doing something that was actually relevant and important to the story.
I was reading my dad's letter.
There we go.
Yeah.
That was it.
You're reading your dad's letter, and we can kind of come back if there are parts of it you want to share for now. But we'll kind of...
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. So give you time to process that, and as a character, you can become vulnerable with this later. Now we'll kind of jump into you guys have lunch. I don't know if there's things you want to share about what you've experienced so far.
Well, like I said, Declan will be clear. Like he'll let them all know kind of what he's determined, that we're not on the train alone, that we're traveling with the same people that we're basically trying to avoid to a very large degree, and they don't appear to have noticed us, but we're also eating in a dining car and having queso, which has got to draw some attention in 1924. So there's that.
Would it have been more like a fondue?
I don't.
It is a fancy train.
Maybe
You know,
fun.
we had Simon with us.
I don't think having a rich person on the train makes it fancy.
Now, you think this train is way crappier than it really is.
It's a shit
You're not
train.
impressed.
It does not live up to my standards.
Yeah. Okay, so you've kind of shared that. Do you share that you saw the other group?
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't know if I figure with what you share, if you share what you heard them say, everyone or the ones that are much more or have read the passages about the Dreamwalkers would recognize that was talk that Dreamwalkers used describing people or people who are part of the Dreamwalkers, not necessarily the Dreamwalker group or level.
Yeah.
So you would probably assume that there may be a presence of that cult on this train as well.
Right.
Upon that knowledge, Theo's going to ask Jack about the book and where he's got it kept. If
Jack's
it's
not
got,
there.
if, oh, you
didn't
didn't
come to
join us for lunch?
Nope. No.
Oh,
Yeah, he's apparently
Well-
being antisocial.
then I will say to the other two that we should probably find Jack and make sure he's got the book contained.
All right, so you guys, are you going to take your chips and queso or fondue and caviar, whatever you have, with you to where your room is, or was it not that good and you're just like,
I mean, I feel like we would finish it.
okay, you're going to finish? I didn't know if you were
No,
how
we
urgent it was
just
to find
bolt
Jack.
away from the table, make a complete scene.
Yeah. I don't think that we want to draw attention.
Okay.
Running with a bowl of hot cheese.
My
So-
fondue!
You
Trip and
you finish your
accidentally
food.
drop it on the Dreamers.
You head back to your room, which Declan, I imagine that it's probably you and Jack sharing a room.
I guess so.
I figure when you brought your tickets, you'd probably want to share. A room
Simon
with
paid
someone.
for it. We're rich. He's rich. We can get our own rooms.
Yeah, that's really up. That's honestly really up to Simon. What did he
Yeah.
spring for?
I'll give you guys your own room. I just need
Alright.
Theodore in my room because somebody's got to tuck me in at night.
That's right. Need a bedtime story for the 45-year-old man.
43?
Yeah, bedtime
Yeah.
stories don't stop until you're 45.
Yeah, he's got a couple
so-
more years left.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go.
We know it's true. How many of you guys, I'm diverting, scroll on your phones before you go to bed at night, huh?
Yeah,
Bedtime stories, all of you.
you can't argue. You know, it's
I
true.
don't scroll on my phone, but I turn on Futurama every night, and that's what I go to sleep
It's
to.
still a story, Greg.
Yeah,
It is, yes,
bedtime
it
story.
is.
But I mean, I'm not too dissimilar. I have to watch my stories, and then I go lay in
Yeah.
bed, and I scroll through for more stories until I fall asleep.
Yep.
Okay.
I win. Go, Todd.
Fair
It's
argument,
true.
Simon.
Good. Okay. So you guys go. You knock on Jack's door.
No answer.
No answer.
Is the door locked if we try to open it?
No.
All right. I don't know if I want to walk in on a grown man crying. Theodore, open the door.
Oh, that's perfect. We have a butler that you can make do things.
No, just slide the door open.
Yeah, Jack's sitting there reading. He's kind of holding that letter from his dad, just kind of not paying attention.
Is he alone in the car? Or in the cabin?
I mean, shit, I hope so.
Well, he seems very consumed with his letter. I'm just
Everyone
making
make
sure.
a spot hidden. Just kidding. You're alone.
There's a couple of train hookers hiding in the room.
Or they're dead. They're just been murdered on the side, you know.
What is happening tonight?
Yeah, Jack's just sitting there. He didn't get up. He figured whoever it was going to come inside, but he's... So...
You are dressed like you're wearing pants. It's not like you're just sitting in your underwear.
Yeah, yeah, he's not fallen that far.
You seem pretty caught up there in whatever it is you're reading.
Yeah. Thanks to Theo. Figured out what my dad was doing before he passed.
Well, we didn't really want to bother you none, but just wanted to give you an update. We've got some of our old pals here on the train and wanted to make sure that you had everything stowed away fine back here in your cabin.
Yeah, it's just me.
Alright.
What you're referring to the other thing? Yeah, that's in. Well, it's gonna take some doing to find.
Alright. Alright, well, I won't bug you none. And awkwardly, Declan will back out and go to his cabin. Which he will probably spend the rest of the time, or at least insofar as he thinks that Jack is in his cabin, or wherever the book is, just offering, like, backup at this point.
Okay.
So, Theo, before you leave, what do you know about the Dreamwalkers that I don't? Simon, please forgive my my rudeness. You can have a seat.
I'm gonna. Simon's gonna kind of like awkwardly look between the two of them, be like trying to find the right words to say, and just be like, my parents are dead too. You know, it happens. And then I'm just gonna kind of like trail off behind Declan and leave.
Men and their
I'm out.
feelings.
There.
What I was waiting on.
It reminds me of King of the Hill when John Redcorn starts crying and then Hank like falls out of the Jeep trying to get away from him.
Oh, yeah,
My
that's
dad's
great.
dead. You can come in here, Simon. Oh.
No.
Good.
No.
I'd rather be out here with the guys that want to kill me.
Well,
So I'm gonna head off towards my own cabin.
Yeah.
Pushing Theo into the room with you.
I don't think I know anything outside of Hank's journal. I don't think Theo himself has gotten anything new as far as that goes.
Yep.
I mean, he'd share whatever he learned from Hank's journal, but at this point, he shared that with everybody.
And Theo would be correct. He does not, as far as before this is the first time he's ever... I mean, coming to Chaplin and getting information from Hank is the first time he's ever heard of the Dreamwalkers.
I've dealt with Hank, but I had no idea what he was involved in.
Sure.
Why? Does something in those notes pertain to them?
Sort of. My dad, apparently my pa was studying them. Trying to learn what he can.
Trying to find them?
He found them. He found them. Likely they're the ones that did him in.
Well, that's not good. Doesn't sound like they're very accommodating people. Don't like the idea of having some of them on the train with us.
Did Declan say how many?
Did Todd say how many?
You guys, I think I said there was a couple that came passing by. That's what you saw,
Yeah.
because they talked to each other.
So two.
Two?
If I find anything else, Theo, I'll let you know.
Alright, if I see anything, I'll inform you. You seem to... I mean, you deserve to know what happened to your father.
Thank you, sir.
Theo will give a short bow and then leave. Return to his room with Simon.
And all right, we're gonna leave off here. They're halfway to Baton Rouge, where they'll then head on to Knott's Haven, and they have discovered that there are some parties on board that have caused them either some trouble or that they're familiar with that may be a problem for them on the train. And it could be that it seems like they are also heading the same direction as they are. So we'll find out what our investigators do next time. Please like and subscribe to DungeonBrew, and look at the other content they have on there. With that, thank you for being here.
At
There's
this
a lot.
point,
There's a lot
Four.
going on with your butler that nobody seems to know about, dude.
Yeah. He makes me really uncomfortable.
Like, I joked, like, he was kind of Alfred. Now I'm, like, starting to wonder if he's actually not Alfred.
well, Alfred tends to Batman's wounds, doesn't he?
Not with cats. That's Catwoman. That's a whole other ballgame.
Master Wayne.
I don't think Alfred helps out with that one.
That's why I said that's a whole other ballgame.
We learned that Alfred has been sending cats to Catwoman for years.
Trying to get her to be able to bruise.
Or he wanted her all to himself.
Come on, Selena, I sent you a calico. What the fuck?
Gets her number, is just sending her cat memes all the time.